this stuff on my desktop.
Wait, did you start or have you not?
I was just about to do the intro, but I guess that can be our intro segment.
Okay. Pog takes Pog!
Welcome back to another episode of the PogTakesPogcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tay on Mars.
I'm another one of your hosts, Gabe, Quakestorm G3.
I'm another one of your hosts, Easton McCrae.
And I'm just some guy named Mike.
Unfortunately, our other yahoos aren't here today, so it's just the four of us. But
the more things change, the more they stay the same.
We have an interesting lineup of things to talk about this week in terms of gaming news and the gaming world in its entirety. So, where are we starting, Gabe?
Well, we could probably jump into the upcoming games topic. You know, there's a lot of new stuff coming out. Outriders came out a couple days ago. We got Battlefield is rumored to be coming out later this year. We finally possibly got rumors about Call of Duty World War II Vanguard coming out.
Back 4 Blood getting delayed.
Back 4 Blood did get delayed. Halo Infinite is supposedly coming out this year or spring 2022. My money's on it being delayed. We also have... What else is coming out?
Was there anything said about Gotham Knights being delayed?
Gotham Knights did get delayed, I believe, to 2022. Am I right, Samuel?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, I thought I remembered seeing that tweet a while back.
And then possibly last, and maybe not least, yeah, I don't know what else is there. Really big and groundbreaking. Dying Light 2, I think. There's not really a whole lot to talk about on that front, though.
Yeah, as if there's been anything ever said about it ever since, like, hey, it's happening.
At this point, it's just word of mouth.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of, I think I'm going to do a brief overview really quick of the topics we will be covering today. So after, not in any specific order, sorry about that. We have the thoughts on the current situation of content for our channel at some point. We'll probably do that at the end just so we can give you guys a brief go-over of what we hope to do. It's nothing guaranteed, of course. Things are always subject to change. We have a lot of busy things going on in our lives. We also have our thoughts on the recent revelations of Activision's CEO and his foolhardy mishaps, given the current state of A, their games, and B, their employment. We have the thoughts on the process of incomplete games being released to the public recently. Two very big ones are Cold War and Cyberpunk. And then we have our analysis of the current gaming market. What with a lot of things going on with how, different gaming platforms and services on PC, different, gaming companies making different acquisitions, like Microsoft literally trying to buy everything under the sun. Looking like Ronald Reagan in the 80s. And then finally, we have skill-based matchmaking and its effect on games, gaming, and gamers around the gaming world, I guess. Let's see how many times I can fit gaming into a sentence. Gaming. And there may be some other things we had to throw in there, too.
So I guess with the first topic of upcoming games and some games getting delayed, let's start with one of the more recent games that was announced to be delayed being Back 4 Blood, which to anyone who watches our channel or even played Left 4 Dead 10 years ago will know about. It's like a loose sequel to Left 4 Dead. With similar mechanics.
Honestly, I didn't even know it was delayed until just hearing about it a second ago when y'all brought it up. I'll be real.
Around last week, or I'd say I think it was the week the Snyder Cut. I think it was a week after the Snyder Cut was released to the public. I was walking home and I saw something from Back 4 Blood's Twitter, and it said it was being delayed from June to October later of this year. Cool. And honestly, I'm not surprised. And that's actually a really good one. But honestly, I can't blame him because I've seen a lot of the gameplay of Back 4 Blood, the alpha. It needs a lot of fine tuning. It looks very kind of patchy, buggy, frame ratey.
Well, I mean, it is an alpha. So it is an alpha. It is to be expected, but honestly, for how it looks in its alpha state, honestly, is surprisingly well, in my opinion. It's really got the form. It's really got a form in mind. It just needs to, of course, refine it.
Indeed,
comparison, one of the recent games that was in alpha for the longest time was DayZ, and that game looks exactly like it did in alpha. It's fucking terrible.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the console edition of the standalone DayZ game is not at all.
I feel like that's what happens with a lot of. That's what happens with a lot of console ports, though. I feel like.
Thank God, Arc.
Especially, and also games that just stay in early access.
Yeah, games that
or
spend
alpha state
legit
for way
years
too long
in like development hell, pretty much.
So, like that 6 Days of Fallujah game that was like supposed to come out like 10 years ago and then like never came out at all.
I'd never even heard of that game. I'm gonna be real.
It was something that Watch Mojo talked about, like in terms of like controversial video games, and then like it just never like got like released.
The moment you said Watch Mojo,
that was what I was like.
Like I don't.
It was 10 years ago. It was literally 10 years ago before I found out like most of the content was a little bit dumb, but I just remember hearing about it from Watch Mojo. Don't give me shit for that. That I saw that. I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Going back to Back 4 Blood though, I'm really excited for it. As a huge fan of Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 1, I have tons of fond memories playing that with some buddies. I actually played Left 4 Dead 2 recently with a friend. And I'm really excited to go back to that because those games were so well done, and I want to see if they. I know I don't know. Some of you guys might not know this, but did you guys know that those games got comic books?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew about that.
I recently found out about that. They got comic books and shit, and it actually leads into Left 4 Dead 2's The Sacrifice.
Oh yeah, like
where Bill dies.
Yeah, The Sacrifice. Didn't The Sacrifice start off as a comic and then was made into the full campaign?
Yeah, people were like, yo, we should make.
So I remember that there was like, I remember seeing like stills from it, like back whenever, like I remember seeing like stills from the comic, of like the moment of like Bill's last stand.
There's a lot of things in Back 4 Blood though that are like do have me like hyped because they're bringing back like the 4 characters, or so I think, because they're bringing in like more playable characters apparently in this game.
I could see like some sort of like cameo in a sense being made of like of the Left 4 Dead characters.
No, it's an entirely new apocalypse because like the lore of the original Left 4 Dead was like a green flu, and it was like something like an outbreak. This is like the Back 4 Blood outbreaks just involved like one little parasite worm, and from some of the lore that was shown from like the alpha gameplay, like the parasitic worm would like get into like like sink water and all that, and it would like make like sink water like not drinkable, and you had to drink from bottled water. From the like from what I've seen from heard from the alpha gameplay, like the lore is really different.
Gotcha.
Interesting. Yeah, it's
but
that's definitely going to be a good one when that comes out.
Yeah.
If
it sucks, I'll be sad because we need it. We need a game like Left 4 Dead, like a Left 4 Dead like game to come back.
We also need more games from. I know that Back 4 Blood isn't made by Valve, but we need more games from Valve in general.
Yeah, just
I still Valve have 3. Just saying.
I'm just to be really Valve is never going to make another game. They are they're so desperate on their stupid Dota games or their dumb card games. Like, I don't know. Any new game they make is terrible.
Here's the thing, though. We do know Half-Life 3 is going to happen at this point.
Yeah, they did. Half-Life Alyx.
Half-Life 3 was confirmed at the end during Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah.
Like, basically, the epilogue of Half-Life Alyx confirms Half-Life 3 is going to happen.
This is new to me.
Yeah, and I'm really surprised to see that, after this long, we're finally getting Half-Life 3. It's just going to be... At that point, it's been such a meme, and now it's like about damn time.
Well, I don't know why it took them this long.
In a meme sense, what game is going to be next to get a third one? Portal? Something like that? I don't know.
They're not doing Team Fortress 2 or Team Fortress 3. Like, Team Fortress 2 is good where it is.
I mean, it's just been kind of left where it is.
I don't think there's anywhere for them to go. They can't really do anything.
The game has like my favorite characters in there, and not only that, like if they're gonna do like a third game, they need to make it like set in a distant future, but with like a new story.
They can't though, because look at if they do that, too many people have forgotten TF2 exists. to the point where if they make TF3, if they make TF3 or TF2, great, of course. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to hate on it, but too many people, it's not as popular as other games that play kind of similar to it. Like, for example, Overwatch. Overwatch is a big, arena style. Hey, each character's got special abilities and special weapons, and that's really TF2 is the game that laid the groundwork for that. So if TF3 comes out and they do it in a distant future and they make maybe some enhanced movement to it, people are just gonna be like, oh, look, another Overwatch, and it's not gonna be worth it.
I'm talking about like Black Ops. I'm talking about like Black Ops 2 to Modern Warfare-esque like levels of like themes and whatnot. Like have like different character classes, but like keep it up to 9 and make it like fun. Because
still in a sense, kind of like just hero shootery in this. I hate that that's kind of a genre that's been set in stone at this point.
Because I'm gonna be real here, I played Overwatch a couple times, and I'm not a fan of it because I tried playing with friends and I kept getting my ass kicked, and I'm like, how the hell do I get good at this game? And I had a friend who was like, you need to play as every single class out of the 20, and I was like, nope, fuck that, I'm going back to TF2. This game is trash.
So just a quick insert here. For these when we talk about the upcoming games, feel free to say what you would want from that upcoming game. Like, what do you want out of Gotham Knights? What do you want out of Back 4 Blood? What do you want out of if you get a Half-Life 3? Like, go ahead and throw that out there too. Because
actually, speaking of Gotham Knights, Sam, why did Gotham Knights get delayed? Sam,
sorry, WB Games Montreal hasn't released a game since Arkham Origins in 2013. So, that's a long-ass time to be working on a single game.
Yeah.
But there's rumors that they've trashed products. Like, there's a rumor they were making a Suicide Squad game, and there was a rumor they were making a Damian Wayne Batman game. So, obviously, there's been some changes in their projects over the past couple of years. But the thing about this is, like, the gameplay they showed at DC Fandom this past August looked really good for wherever they were in their development process. Like, the game looked really smooth. Like, I don't remember what console
played well.
Yeah, it looked like it played well. I don't remember what console they were playing on, but like it ran really smooth. So no doubt, probably a next gen console.
Yeah, and whether it was like the Series X or like a PS5,
probably, yeah.
As well. I would think probably a PS5. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, a lot of devs show off their gameplay using the PS5. I think. So.
Which is, it be like that.
It do be like that.
No, fam. Xbox Master Race. Yeah, no,
at least Xbox actually cares about their fans.
Not man, Nintendo Switch Master Race.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Gotham Knights because ever since the Arkham games came out, I've been dying for a 2-player to 4-player Batman game with that style of movie.
Yeah.
That would have been so. I'm so excited to chase down overdue library books with Samuel now. This is going to be great.
Yeah, no, this has been something like a game like this, because most Batman games are like couch co-op style, like, at least the older ones, since they're on older consoles, so your hardware has to be played, together on one system. But now we have the power of our current gen console, current and next gen, and it can support this 2-player. And from what it sounds like, we could, divide and conquer. There's no it's like Borderlands,
there's no limit on how far away you can.
Yeah, it's like Borderlands, so you can
say Far Cry 5, for example.
Yeah, that too.
I'm glad to see everybody saw Ark do that, and they were like, nope, and did a U-turn. Fuck that.
Like being able to have all that open space and just being able to travel to whatever end of the maps you want to. Something like that is something that I feel like is definitely something that co-op games in this sort of vein really need.
Excited to see, because I know Samuel was explaining it to me the other day. I'm excited to see play as Red Hood, considering how they're all. Oh yeah, no, his guns just shoot
non-lethal
or rubber.
Yeah,
whenever we clearly see him murder a man in the fucking trailer.
Yeah, and then it's like when Batman runs people over with the Batmobile and Arkham.
It's like, don't worry.
and then they get like flicked off. Yeah. It's like that. I don't care where that guy went. He's going to the emergency room probably.
Batman runs over the Joker with the motorcycle. Oh yeah, Batman doesn't kill, but he gave that guy a concussion. Me, okay.
Okay, bud.
I would love if the game gave you an injury summary of the guy after you beat him.
That would be awesome. Actually, funny you say that. In I think in Arkham Origins multiplayer, because that game actually had like an online.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah, and
isn't it third person?
It was a 5v5v2. So you were either Joker gang, Bane gang, or two people were Batman and Robin. And when you died, it actually showed you, like, it gave you a percent breakdown to where you got shot. If you were, like, so, like, it would say, like, 22% in the arm and, like, 40% in the left leg. And it's like, that's really detailed for just getting shot at.
Yeah.
Sure wish that was my medical records.
Nice.
What are the games that get delayed? You guys said Dying Light got delayed?
Dying Light hasn't had anything properly confirmed.
They announced it in 2018 at E3, and then they delayed it indefinitely. Actually, they said spring. I think they said spring 2020 is when they said that was going to come out, and then everything happened. And so, actually, funny enough, there was just a dev video they put out the other day. I watched it this morning, and they basically said, like, we're getting there on the game, and you'll hear more soon. So it sounds like we're gonna get a real release date this year.
Soon, TM.
So,
yeah, soon, TM.
And I don't know much about Dying Light. So what is Dying Light supposed to be about?
Have you heard of Dead Island?
Yes.
I
think Dead Island, but with parkour. That's a very simple explanation of it.
Yeah.
A zombie fighting game on an island with parkour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What?
Well,
basically, the first one, you were like an agent of a sort.
The United Nations said, hey, we need somebody to go in here and... Actually, funny enough, the story starts off with you being entered into the game to go in, take the cure, that you find a doctor there who's making a cure, and the GN want you to go in there, take the cure, and give it to them so they can decide if the country the cure came from deserves the cure. The UN is 100% fucking with this country.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
And like halfway through the game, you decide to help the people that are, because like you get dropped into this quarantine zone. I don't remember where the country you play in is set.
Haran.
Yeah, Haran.
It's Haran. It's supposed to be like
hooray!
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure it's in India somewhere, but you get dropped in and you make friends with some of the survivors, and at like about the middle point of the game, you actually call off. You're supposed to send in coordinates for them to do for the UN to do an airstrike, and you actually
not them.
Yeah, you actually call it off and broadcast to the world that there are still people surviving in the quarantine zone.
Oh.
I mean, yeah. And like
also, Dying Light is the game where you go to a location and then boys become men.
Yes.
The bridge.
We all love the bridge.
The bridge.
Oh god, the bridge.
The bridge.
So Mike, because you probably haven't played it, so you don't know, the bridge is this area in Dying Light. So when the city became under infectious scourge, the outside governments bombed all the ways out. So the bridge the bridge is a area where you have to run up the suspension lines, and you have to run like very, very slow because you will just slip and fall off into the water below. You don't die, of course, but you have to like spend all kinds of time getting back to your climbing point. And once you get to the top, you have to time a glitched out zip line.
Oh god.
Zip line down to the other end of the bridge, and then that is where there is like no zombies and a shit ton of loot.
That's like a lot of like high end loot, basically.
Yeah, you get like all the best loot in the game right there, but you have to make sure you bring a lot of lockpicks. That just sucks.
Bro, what the hell?
Yeah,
and
like, actually hella infuriating to get there.
There's like a actual parkour way to get up to the top of the bridge, but it's so infuriating to do it because like the parkour in the original Dying Light is a little wonky at times. So like you'll be like, oh, I can make that jump, and then you'll actually just fall a couple feet short, and you're like, are you kidding me?
about that. Not to mention there are zombies that will parkour up to get you as well.
Also, let's not forget about how crazy the game gets when it's the night phase.
Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. The bloodsuckers or whatever they are.
Yeah. There's like a special like mutated type of zombie that only comes out at night and is like they are like
beefy boy.
Oh yeah, like, you try to run from them. You run from regular zombies and they'll hop like a fence slowly to chase you, and then they'll kind of just lose interest and wander off. The nighttime
these boys will keep chasing you until you're in like a black light zone.
Yeah, you have to go to your safe house and whatnot. And if you go to a safe house at night that you have to turn on yourself, you're fucked. You've locked yourself in there with them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, and
that sounds horrifying.
Oh, and also guns, by the way, are worthless. So you can make like special customized. You can make customized weapons that are blades that have durability, but once your gun runs out of magazine capacity, your gun breaks. It's done. You don't get to reload.
And
actually, there were some guns that you could reload. It's just that, like, once you got to the point where the durability was basically nothing, it was fucked. But also, there was that one secret weapon.
Guns also work like properly. So, like, if you shoot, it'll attract nearby zombies.
Mm-hmm. So, like, you'd have to be careful.
Yep.
I remember there was a fucking side quest where it's like, oh, this is meant to be like a gun that's supposed to like really just be overpowered and can also destroy aliens. It's a pea shooter that just gives off a lot of fucking noise.
It's gonna sound kind of dumb, but like the only other zombies games that I played besides Call of Duty and Left 4 Dead is just like the Dead Rising series.
That's fair.
Bad. I mean, Dead Rising 1 and 2 are pretty cool. I didn't really like 3 or 4.
I enjoyed 3. 4 is
I only love playing as like. I just love playing as the Dead Rising character with the giant Lego head and just running them over with like the Ghost Rider like motorcycle.
Dead Rising, Rise, Son of Rome, and Sunset Overdrive were the 3 games that were marketed to the Xbox One.
I remember that.
And that's part of the reason why the Xbox One did not sell nearly as much as the
PlayStation 4.
PlayStation 4 did.
Well, I mean,
PlayStation 4 launched with, I want to say,
The Last of Us 1.
No, it didn't allow. No, it didn't actually. They had to remaster that game the following year, and you had to rebuy it at $30.
I remember that.
Yeah, because it originally released on the PS3.
Hey, The Last of Us 1 was still one of the greatest games of all time. So,
I never played it. It never really caught my interest. But then I heard how bad the second one was, and I was like, oh,
okay, let's not go there. Let's not go there. We've had our own talks about it off stream, and like we have a bunch of other stuff to talk about.
We do have to fit this into an hour and a half, and we won't fit that into an hour and a half. Moving on from Dying Light, let's talk about a game that intrigues me greatly. Let's talk about Halo Infinite.
Oh.
So this game was supposedly supposed to be released this last November. I am both really upset at this game right now based on the leaks, and both very excited for it because I'm always happy to play as Chief if it fits the story well and if they're going to keep it going. But apparently this is going to take place after Halo Wars 2, and the bad guy from Halo Wars 2 who lived and is like the Atriox, he's the banished brutes and whatnot. Apparently the trailer from E3 that we got a couple years ago, Atriox and the brutes annihilated humanity. Master Chief and like a few straggling humans are the last alive. Like there's no more humanity. Everybody on the Infinity gone. Lasky dead. Osiris team, the team that was presumably with Locke and Vale and Hanaka and Buck, who were going to take over the Halo universe, they're gone. Like it's just Master Chief now.
Wait, hold on. I thought Halo Wars 2 was like a direct sequel to the first Halo. Because I don't pay attention to the Halo Wars lore, but
here I'll explain it to you briefly. Halo Wars 1 takes place like 20 to 30 years before Halo 1. At the end of that Halo, the Spirit of Fire, the ship that you're on, because it's an RTS, the Spirit of Fire teleports to like a Forerunner, like Shield World-esque type place by accident. And they just spend the entire time getting home. So people for years theorized, oh, well, I wonder what would happen if they came back. I wonder if they ever could, blah, 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 this, blah, blah, that, because they were all kind of just listed as MIA. So insert Halo Wars 2. They go to the Shield World. They realize the Banished are a thing because the Banished are going to all the old Forerunner structures and moving themselves around. Oh, the Forerunners, by the way, are apparently also gone. They came back and just dipped.
Then what about the Flood not one Halo Wars 2 thing? I saw like they apparently came back.
No, I don't know if they came back or each Halo facility technically, I guess, houses different strands of the Flood for experimentation and learning about them, so that way the Forerunners could combat them. Sorry if I'm taking too much time up. I'm trying to go as fast as I can. But anyway, Halo Wars 2, somehow the Spirit of Fire gets launched back into the fray of things, and they appear, and everybody from Halo 4 and 5 are like, whoa, hang on, where the fuck did y'all come from? So those are now apparently the new the banished of the new bad guys. But I'm a little peeved about that because I liked the storyline Halo 4 went with. I liked the fact they were going to lead into books and comic books and all that stuff. They were really expanding the universe, and now Infinite just seems like it's listening to all the people who hated Halo 5 for all the wrong reasons.
I mean, that premise sounds interesting, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like Halo 5 did a lot of damage to like a lot of fans who liked Halo. I know you liked Halo High 5, but there's a lot of people I know who genuinely thought the story was bland.
It was for some reasons. So funny enough for me, my take on it is the story was bland because Chief was in it. I love Master Chief, don't get me wrong. Good character, struggled through his trials and tribulations, and he saved humanity 10 times over, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But his team in that game totally ruined Halo 5. There was...
Because it just felt weird having a team.
I feel like it would have been better if Halo 5 just focused on Locke and
if it were just on Locke and Chief was just on his own, things could have been fine.
Chief should have taken the role of Commander Palmer and been like okay, Osiris team, under my direction, you're going to go do this. Okay, I'm going to be the guy. He should have taken a Weaver stance from Cold War. Osiris, go do your thing. Osiris, good luck.
Also, I'm also gonna say it right now. I'm of the mindset that if you kill off a character that was likable, only for them to come back as a bad guy, that is retarded. Cortana should have stayed dead in Halo 4. She should not have come back in Halo 5. She should never have.
Yeah, that whole arc made no sense to me. I was like, dude, what the hell? The AIs are the bad guys? Okay.
Nah, that doesn't make it that stupid.
Watch out for the vending machine in the staff lounge, guys. It's gonna fucking sling Mountain Dew at you.
Oh, my Apple Watch is telling me to go kill myself. Wait a minute.
Yeah, for real. Oh no, my Samsung blew up in my ear.
Oh my god, Bill Gates planted a microchip. But yeah, I don't know. Halo Infinite has a lot of potential to be good, but it better take its steps wisely
because we've seen the E3 trailer they showed us 2 years ago, and then we saw that one gameplay trailer they released a couple months back. So I think we just need to hear more about it.
Oh yeah,
and pray it does well, because Halo has been forgotten about for I'd say the past 3 to 4 years, with how poor Halo 5 did, generally speaking.
Halo 5 had all of the circumstances in line to capitalize. So, for example, Warzone firefight. Phenomenal concept. Had the potential to be the best firefight we've ever fucking had. And it's 8 players, double the original lobby count. And then they only let it go to 8 rounds? And the rounds are 3 minutes long apiece? What? Why would you do that? That'd be that. It's essentially the same thing. It would be if in Cold War, to give it a perspective for you guys who aren't super into Halo, it would be in perspective saying, imagine if the 20-round zombies was the only bit of zombies in Cold War. You couldn't go past it.
Okay.
Leveling up, and there was 8 people in the lobby. So you spent all that time leveling up, killing the very few enemies that were in the game, and then round 20 hits and it goes, wow, good job, guys. You did it.
Run!
Well, no, and you're just well, hang on, but we wanted to play some more. What the hell? And you're just nope, sorry, go next lobby. Go.
Oh yeah, let's also remember that, whatchamacallit, 343 also had to delay the Forge mode for Halo 5 to December of 2015.
I think that's less important to the...
Yeah. It was only 1 month, so I mean, yeah, I get that. It gives you time to explore the already there maps, and map designers themselves who use Forge for custom projects and shit to try and make dinero off of it and whatnot. They didn't really have an issue with it because they still had MCC, and people were still using that to make machinimas and stuff like that. For those of you who are old enough to remember machinimas,
I do. They changed
That's
the
a fucking blast from the past. Jesus.
For real, dude. I used to watch those every fucking day. After I would get home from school, do my homework, play with my Legos, and my laptop would be open and have a machinima playing right next to me while I was playing with my Halo Legos.
Speaking of bad,
I'm talking about when I was
machinima,
like 16, by the way.
I'm still 20 and I still play with Legos, so you're not
There's nothing
alone.
wrong
But
with that.
speaking of machinima and bad CEOs, now would be a nice time to move on to the Activision CEO fiasco. So, Gabe, fill us in on what happened with.
That is quite the segue.
I'm gonna have Samuel go with this one.
All right, so basically, like,
shit!
I need to open up my. I need to share for you guys 1 second screen.
I wasn't expecting this. This is gonna get good.
All right, so here we go. So pretty much, Activision. Let me scroll up to the top really quick. There we go. Activision CEO gave himself a raise, or got a raise somehow, amid a, I believe, 200 employee layoff. And this was like a month or two. Wednesday, March 17th. So this was legit last month.
Less than a month ago.
Yeah. So
2 weeks ago.
So he gave himself a $200 million raise, and they just let go of 200 people. You know, it's like...
What? Now, 200 people, to those listening, would seem insignificant. However, the way Activision does business is primarily through temp agency. So those 200 employees were probably out of the, let's ballpark it and say, 1,000 permanent employees they have. The rest of their coders, the rest of their design, a lot of their like underling designers and interns and stuff come from temp agencies. So, you know, those guys are all on like year-long contracts and whatnot, and then they dip and then they maybe get brought back for the next game or some shit. These are like permanent employees who like work directly under, you know, the people who are in charge of the subsidiaries.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so...
But let's also point out, Activision made... Let's see. Samuel, you probably can pull the number out of your head, because I think you were the one who shared this with me. How much money did they make total off of microtransactions with Black Ops 4?
It was, I think, like 18... let me find the number for you really quick, but I believe it was something around $15 to $18 billion off of Black Ops 4's microtransactions.
Wait, that is a billion, by the way.
No, that is not bullshit. I would not be surprised by that at all at this point.
Jesus!
Yeah.
How was Black Ops 4 the most unpopular Call of Duty game that came out and it made that much money? Jesus.
I would say it's the most unpopular Treyarch game, not the most unpopular Call of Duty game. Because keep in mind that there's games like, you know, like Infinite Warfare, for example. Because remember how many dislikes that trailer got whenever it was first revealed?
Oh, okay. In 2020, I didn't find any numbers but like that, but in 2020, Activision Blizzard reports $8.1 billion in revenue, according to Reuters.com. So you're a multi-billion-dollar company, and this is 2020. So this is the life year of Black Ops 4 leading up to Modern Warfare.
No, this is Modern Warfare's cycle.
Or sorry, Modern Warfare's life cycle. So you've already had the multi-transaction, the first game with a battle pass and an item store and all that shit in Black Ops 4. You are now leading into into Modern Warfare, which has an even more expensive, some may argue, or some may not argue against as well, another very expensive battle pass system and item store. So let's just hypothetically say these guys made back-to-back years of $7 billion, $8 billion. That's almost $20 billion. So this company has made. And everybody's like, oh, well, you know, a $200 million raise for the CEO, that's not that much. $200 million for one guy when he fires 200 of his own employees? Like, what? No, you can't say, COVID layoffs.
You can't equate that. Like, it's not equatable.
Yeah, like, that's ridiculous.
That's not even ridiculous. It's just what the fuck? That's all I can say. That's just...
like, it sucks for those guys. I mean, obviously, those guys will probably go find jobs elsewhere in the gaming industry, I hope.
Or sue.
Or sue, yeah, there's probably some who have done that. But it's just one of those things where, you know, and everybody, it goes back to it. Everybody knows when you think of the scummiest game developers in the world or game publishers in the world, there's two things that come to mind. There's
EA and Activision.
And there's EA. And it's one of those things where you kind of just look at it and you're just like, wow, we complain about their games all the fucking time. We complain about shit they do, or the models of their business and everything. And they just go, whatever.
Pretty much, yeah.
God. I thought the Coalition was incompetent for making Gears. Oh wait, that was a different studio. But yeah, that's wow. Activision and EA are like Burger King and McDonald's. We just keep consuming their shit, and they'll still give it to us.
Will probably have something to say on this too. Everybody thought when Bungie left Microsoft and worked with Activision to make Destiny and Destiny 2, it was going to be the greatest thing ever. And those games were great, of course, but
they ended up having to work under Activision, and Activision was basically forcing them into doing things a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we wouldn't, if it were up to Bungie, they probably wouldn't have made Destiny 2 and would have just kept building off of the first Destiny. But honestly, the more I think about it, I'm okay with Destiny 2 being made now that things have kind of gone and passed. But like Bungie now being like their own like self-publishing company and being able to run the game at their own pace, like I'm okay with it. Like I'm happy for them because it's better than having to be forced into having to do having to meet certain deadlines for things.
Also the season passes and the Silver Store. Totally an Activision thing right there. That is a blatant Black Ops 4 ripoff right there.
I mean,
and like the thing is, like and now they don't have to feel rushed to make a Destiny 3 if that's the avenue they're going to go down.
At this point, they have confirmed that they are not making a Destiny 3. They have the next they have 2 more years of content. They have 2 more years of content planned.
If they were still under
2 more yearly expansions.
If they were still working with Activision, they would have had to pump out a third one. No doubt.
They would have pumped out a third one, and then it would have made no sense.
Because like right now, the current main it's always going based off of the fall expansion. So you had the base D2, you had Destiny 2 Forsaken, Destiny 2 Shadowkeep, and now we're in Destiny 2 Beyond Light. The farthest that they got with Destiny 1 was a third expansion. This is their basically year 3. There was, because for the sake of Destiny 1, it was of course just Destiny, then Destiny the Taken King, and then Destiny Rise of Iron, and then they had to make Destiny 2. They had 3 years for that one game, and I'm just glad that they're just they have control now, and they're just going to keep building off of this game. There have been some things that they have done that have been kind of questionable with how their game is run, with the ideas of there was the whole sunsetting system where they'd slowly remove gear from the game as new seasons happened and all of that. They still have that seasonal model that they took from the start. They have a new seasonal model of how they do things for the sake of where they started with Shadowkeep, where you can buy the expansion as well as basically an ultimate edition that includes every single season pass for each separate season, because you could buy the seasons separately, but that doesn't limit you to not being able to have access to the content. It's minimal content that has its own little story that keeps the world going. But there's still things that you can do in the base game itself, which is now free to play, to where you can just do whatever you want. So it's completely up to you. It's not entirely a pay to play situation. It's it is more pay to experience. But there still is a lot in the game that you can experience without paying for these seasonal passes. Mm-hmm. And of course, you got the silver bundles and all that, which honestly, they make some pretty good cosmetic stuff, which it's purely cosmetic what these silver bundles are for. Nothing similar to nothing on the lines of how we have weapon blueprints and all of that with Modern Warfare and Cold War, where it's completely built weapons that just have a unique look, and in some cases are basically kind of meta versions of the weapon to a degree.
Oh, the recluse. Oh, the gnawing hunger.
I mean, those are examples of things that you could do in game to obtain.
Mm-hmm.
But that's besides the point, of course, in this topic.
Oh, I know. I was just pondering my weapons.
But yeah,
I haven't played Destiny since Beyond Light started.
I only played I think when I got the second Destiny for my birthday, and I beat the game, and I was like, oh, that's it, there's no story. And at the time, they still had paid DLC. My friend's like, oh, Michael, the rest of the story's in the DLC. And I was like, yeah, no, thank you. This game's like I thought the game at the time like didn't have a good enough story for me to get invested in. And I was just like,
that's
whatever.
always the problem that they have with like the initial release of the game. Like the story that the base game has normally isn't the best, and they try to keep building the story, but like it's gonna take time. The story is basically like, even with this new seasonal model, like this season's story that's currently going on, it spanned the entire first half of the season. Like week by week, new stuff for like new story stuff to do, like new story quests.
New
basically.
exotics drop, new quests,
new like exotic items, which is basically along the new exotic items, new little things to do here and there. I mean, they just introduced this season like a little like kind of like seasonal challenges thing where every week there's like a set of like upwards of like 10, minimum of like 6 challenges for that week that if you do them, you gain XP to level up your season pass, which basically is like a battle pass sort of progression system that gives you a lot of cosmetics. It gives you the seasonal armor, a couple of the seasonal weapons, as well as the seasonal exotic weapon, as well as like maybe some exclusive or some ornaments for said weapons and armor, as well as a few emotes and stuff like that.
Shit, I pre-ordered it and still haven't gotten my Stranger's exotic rifle. Lol. I still haven't gone and done that.
Did you complete the Beyond Light campaign?
No, not yet.
That's where you went wrong. You have to complete the campaign before you get it.
Yeah, I still haven't done it because I played the campaign and okay, so Destiny for me is a very big game that you need to play with friends. And all of at the time of Beyond Light, every one of my friends went off to go do different shit. So Lloyd didn't really play anymore. He plays with his own group, and I don't really like a bunch of those guys. Jared he just got married last week, so he's obviously very busy. And he's been busy with other shit. Also, Cold War came out, and I was trying to grind that. Easton, you're in college on your PC, so I'm not trying to like.
I mean, there's no crossplay. We are looking at like sometime over the summer finally getting crossplay for Destiny. Thank God.
Yeah, hopefully.
Like that's what they have planned. I don't know what exactly is fully in store for that yet until they actually release like a state of the game sort of like blog post on their website.
Yeah, but that's going back to the original topic, that's the cool thing about like games that leave Activision. Companies that leave Activision go on to do great things, even without them. Like
because
Destiny is still doing
Respawn, like Titanfall 2.
Well, Respawn
was just a subsidiary, subsidiary that
Respawn was made after the original Infinity Ward team left after Modern Warfare 2.
Okay. So basically, kind of in a sense, that situation.
Yeah, so basically, the Infinity Ward guys were done with Activision, and they went and formed Respawn to make their own games, in which they got picked up by EA.
Treyarch needs to do that. The Treyarch guys need to leave and go do their own thing. They are carrying this franchise, and they are carrying the Call of Duty Zombies franchise and not getting any credit for it. They need to just leave and do their own thing.
There is rumors of a supposed standalone Zombies game, but nobody it hasn't been it's supposedly in development, but we're not really quite sure because not that many people have been active on it.
I'd rather hold off on that kind of stuff and just wait until we actually get some solid information.
In the words of Hawkeye, don't give me hope.
Yeah. Seriously.
But yeah, it's I don't know.
Honestly, that's a great reference. That's a perfect quote to pull. But neither kind of in a sense of kind of tagging on with bringing up kind of something in. Is it okay if I kind of jump topics to something of things that are coming? I kind of want to jump a little bit back to things that are coming up because yes, we talked about games and all that, but there's also some things on smaller scale for certain games. For example, coming this Thursday, April 8th, Borderlands 3 is finally getting its next
out of my head.
Its next DLC for its season 2, which is being referred to as the director's cut, which has which they're going to basically be releasing in-game, if you own it, a lot of the concept art and a lot of behind the scenes footage of stuff. They're adding in some new story. They're adding in new mini story stuff. They're adding in a new loot system known as the Diamond Vault. They're adding in vault cards. They're adding in a proper fucking raid boss for this game. Finally,
the greatest thing is Randy Pitchford's dumbass went on Twitter, and this is a good thing too. I'll praise the Pitchford for this. goes on Twitter and goes, "That's right, guys. By the way, the diamond keys? No, we're not going to make you pay money for those. You are going to be able to earn those in games because multi-transactions."
Wait, why does everyone hate? Why does
it's a multi-transaction sort of thing that you can do?
Or a microtransaction.
People like Randy Pitchford because he's just, from what I've read, he's
a creature.
Yeah, he's just so he wants what's best for
the game. He's
a
creature
game.
Character, horrible CEO type, but he wants the best for the game.
Yeah,
he's just a simple man trying to make his living in the universe.
Yeah, but he's kind of just like my way or the highway type of person.
Yeah.
And that's ended up good. That's ended up bad.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that
I just heard very weird things about him.
Oh yeah,
but I don't know.
CEOs are weird.
Yeah.
None of them are worse than Joe Ketcop, but that's a different story.
Well, no, he's done some shady shit in the past. So, for example, after Borderlands 1 came out, the game did not do. It did good, but it didn't do as good as good enough that people thought it would really needed a sequel. And as a result of that and the following DLCs, the DLCs in the Game of the Year edition did not sell enough. So Gearbox made Duke Nukem Forever, and then they made Aliens Colonial Marines. Neither of these games...
no.
Yes, so now you're probably coming at. Neither of those games were advertised correctly at all. They were literally just cash cows to funnel money into the Borderlands 2 project, and it came down to the point where people actually, the companies that made those two games, some of the developers sued Gearbox and Randy Pitchford because he was basically not paying them for those games. So he reallocated all the money to Borderlands 2, which
it's very fucking scummy.
It's scummy, it absolutely is, but it also gave us one of the greatest games with the greatest villains of all time.
Oh yeah.
Borderlands 2 is a really great game. I'm just sad that in order for this amazing, awesome product to be done,
it had to be through such.
I'm going to reference a Modern Warfare line with this. Randy Pitchford keeps his hands dirty, and the rest of the world stayed clean. That's the mission, kids.
God damn it! Reference after reference here tonight.
I like Captain Price.
But honestly, though, there's also one thing to think about is if it were not for Borderlands, we wouldn't have the loot shooter genre in the first place.
Oh yeah. We wouldn't have Destiny.
Borderlands was truly an unusual title at its time because there was nothing like it. It was very different. Having a means of being the game is all based off loot and character progression to work on your skill tree, blah blah blah. From that, we've gotten so many of these amazing games that we have at our disposal. We got, like you mentioned, Gabe, the best possible of the franchise for the sake of Borderlands, with Borderlands 2 being a great sequel.
Opened up the door for more single player games to do the loot tiering. So
exactly.
You have different gear levels. Assassin's Creed picked up on that after a few years.
Oh yeah, Assassin's Creed definitely picked up on that. That's for sure.
The Division.
Exactly. You got the most recent. You got some of the most recent Ghost Recon games.
Yeah. They just kind of picked up on this. Borderlands definitely.
Destiny is very much built off of that idea as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Borderlands, love Randy Pitchford or hate him, that man damn near created a game genre.
Yeah,
he basically was just I have made this. Except love me or hate me, I've done it.
Yeah, there's some things that's just we can hate him for, but for the sake of what he brought to the gaming world of helping with produce bringing about this new genre with Gearbox, credit to all of them for sure. If it were not for them, we would not have this genre because I love the loot shooter genre, and I feel and one thing I can kind of say I feel as well as I know we talk a lot about Call of Duty and zombies and all that. I really like how things have kind of taken into effect with the current zombies rendition, with taking those ideas of the rarity with the pack punch and all that, having all these different tiers in mind of
hey man,
progression of power.
I've argued with them keeping another thing from Borderlands 3. Can we please get individual equipment and salvage drops off the ground, please? That way.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, the good old. Because one thing I have to say, one thing I
steal my salvage too, motherfucker.
one thing I've always found funny with like Borderlands, of course, is like it's their model of what is basically referred to as in the say with like whenever you start up a new game, like a new campaign for run, like a new character in general with Borderlands 3, you have two different options of how you want to have gear be. Do you want it cooperation mode or co-opetition? Co-opetition is where Borderlands started, in the sense of like, oh, hey, here's the gear that's dropped in this entire instance for you and your friends that are playing. First come, first serve, bitches.
And you might play with some loot ninjas.
I mean, like, we've pulled that shit a lot in Zombies as it is. I mean, there was that... What was it exactly again, Sam? Wasn't it like a self-revive or a ray... Oh, wait, that ray gun on fucking Outbreak, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where we both fucking looked at it. You said something, and I just ganked it.
Yeah. That was...
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or the dispute over the free stamina up and the free jug.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Wait, hold on. Easton, there was also around 100 like game today where like you're hitting the box, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get the ray gun, and then I just see the ray gun, I'm like drinking water, I'm like, and Easton was like,
but it was my box. But it was my box hit. You couldn't do anything about it.
I know. I was just like looking. I was like, oh, cool. He's in the box. Oh my god.
Okay. Anyways, moving away from zombies again, but also like there is some things that are coming up that I will quickly mention. Of course, we got season 3 coming up in the next like 3 weeks, like 2.5 weeks actually, like 18 days if I'm to be exact.
Y'all can damn well expect a podcast on that for sure. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And of course,
on what again?
On season 3.
Season 3, because we've of course got a main quest coming for the sake of the Outbreak mode. We're hopefully going to get some sort of tease through said quest about what the next proper round-based map is. I mean, we all know at this point it's going to be Berlin, but I hope we get a proper tease about how things are looking in the future, especially with lore and intel and all that.
I'm gonna be real here with Outbreak, because everyone thought like with season 1 it was gonna kickstart off like the DLC genre, but that was just kind of like a light pat in the back. Towards Outbreak is gonna be like a Falcon punch.
Because I mean, one thing to look at is
it will kickstart zombies into a new generation.
I mean, one thing we look at it just kind of go over everything quickly again. Like, of course, we started off with Cold War. Season 1, we only got a couple of like LTMs for zombies: Jingle Hells and Cranked. Only available on D Machine at the time because that's all we had for zombies. Unless you play on PlayStation and have Onslaught available to you.
Fuck you.
Season 1 Reloaded, we got Firebase, the first like quote unquote DLC map. Then of course at the start of season 2, we got Outbreak, taking three multi-team maps. One that was new to the game that wasn't going to be added to multi-team until it was recently added with season 2. With season 2 Reloaded, as well as we finally got the other multi-team map, Sanatorium, added for Outbreak, as well as a new objective for Outbreak. And now we're looking at going into season 3 with, of course, a full main quest for the sake of Outbreak, which I'm curious of how that's going to go. We can talk about that later on, but of course, this is all about general gaming. We're not here to always talk about zombies, and I hate how I hate and love that we've been talking about zombies because it's all we're passionate about.
It's hard. It's very hard for us to like not talk about zombies when it's a game we like mainly play.
Exactly.
Just for like pure gameplay.
I'm sure a shit ton of our fans that we will hopefully grow to grab, and our existing fans already that we do have. Most of them are our friends that we've met playing zombies.
Exactly.
Most of them are we all met because of a zombies community. That's pretty much how we met.
In the Discord.
So where we came. Well, yeah, in the Discord for zombies. That Discord was made for zombies. So it's like,
and now it's like, and we're just wanting to like, yes, that's where we started, but we want to expand upon it because there's only so much that you can talk about with zombies.
Yeah.
And like, this is where I think we can definitely go into talking about what we have plans for in the future. If y'all are okay with going ahead and moving to the end of, towards like basically an end to like
as we like wind down a little bit, we can talk about what's coming up.
So definitely the next upcoming podcast, which I'm not going to give you guys an official release date on that because quite frankly, we don't know.
And who knows when we're going to be able to record it as well.
Yeah, busy life and all that. The next one we're probably going to do, you'll see either one of the next 1 or 2 episodes will be about season 3. That may not be the next one, it may be the one after, but we are going to do one based off of upcoming movies in 2021 and just cinema in general.
And also any like shows that have come out recently, such as like WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
We could do a Twitter poll, or just have like a depending on like what like gets like more hype around it by the end of season 2.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah.
Honestly, do a Twitter poll. I'm
okay. Get a Twitter poll and like have like which one would people rather see first?
We'll brainstorm.
I feel like we're going to cover both eventually, but which one do y'all want to hear about first?
We'll brainstorm some topics, and then we'll just make sure we just got to make sure we have good talking points about it. That's all
I honestly, like, I know I said the Twitter poll idea, but if we're going to do anything, we should save the movie podcast for like, I say like the summer of like, this year, because season 3 is going to be right around the corner, just like that.
Oh, yeah, we're 2 weeks away from season 3.
So we're gonna need to like make a podcast on like a trailer, because
I honestly
there will be hype.
I honestly feel like I want to have personally. I feel like we need to talk about things that have happened as of recently in the world of film and TV, because we've had stuff. We had the entirety of WandaVision happen. We've had the Snyder Cut release.
Yeah, we're in the
middle of Falcon and Winter Soldier. We've coming
got
up on
Godzilla and Kong. We've got
Snyder Cut.
Yeah, he just said that, but yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned Snyder. Also, we got coming up like stuff like, Spider-Man, like No Way Home, whenever the heck that releases. Actually, that's going to be way down the line.
Christmas.
Also, either way, that's the future
Christmas,
of Marvel we get to talk about. We get to talk about the future of DC. We get to see how many more people are going to sell their souls to Disney. We can talk about disgruntled actors in certain shows and whatnot. It's going to be great.
We'll have
shit to talk about.
And that stuff.
You can talk about like old Marvel shows, like in separate series, like like we could do like a review series of Daredevil with me and Gabe, or like or even
anybody,
like
we
old
could have
stuff.
One of the series, that's definitely a good idea.
One of the new series that we are going to have coming out relatively soon. I know I've recorded, or I'm in the process of recording some stuff for Star Wars Squadrons. I will at some point get you viewers the Cyberpunk series. I promised you. I'm not gonna lie to you though. I just got really fucking bored of the game because I played it 7 times already. So I'm just waiting for them to do something update worthy.
Yeah.
Actually, I know Samuel have a series possibly that you guys were thinking of. I want to say it was whatever. What were you guys thinking of?
Well, I'm going to be doing Tomb Raider soon. Because I just went back and I replayed. I got back into the flow of playing them again. So I think I'm.
Are you going to be putting that on? Are you going to be putting that on PTP, or is that going to be on your own channel?
This will be on PTP. Me playing through it will be on PTP.
You playing through it will be on PTP, and of course your reviews will be put on your own channel.
I know that also Gabe, myself, Jackson, and Kringy have all done. We've been doing ARC, so episode 1 should be coming out soon.
Let's see.
Give us some leeway with that though, because as we've said before, we only have 1 to possibly 2 people who know how to edit. Samuel is basically the one who does almost all of the video editing.
I'm the only one guy who has like. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I'm like another guy that probably has like good creative ideas with thumbnails.
Yeah, like it's going to take us a little bit because it's not really fair for us. If we have 7 series going on at once,
we're all busy.
All right,
people.
Samuel, edit everything 24/7. He's not an editor. He's a member of the team. It's not.
Yeah.
So we'll have episode 1 soon. That'll be like our introduction to the series and a little bit of the like setting up.
Yeah.
And then I think Easton, you said you're going to continue with the
Yes,
reactions.
I do plan on continuing with the speedrun series. I do have things in mind. Currently, the plan is, I know I mentioned earlier that we don't want to be just nothing but zombies, but I currently have plans to like. Of course, with the very first one that Sam and I recorded together and already have posted on the channel. If you haven't checked it out, go and check it out. It was our reaction to Steve's speedrun of Speedrun World Record whenever it was before the release of Season 2. I plan on going back and reacting to the new records that are on both D Machine and Firebase, starting with Firebase, then going to D Machine. I plan on going and looking at all the current world records from most recent to oldest in regards to the zombies for eggs, because I really have been curious about wanting to watch that kind of stuff. And there's been a lot of stuff with Season 2, and I'm really excited to see what has happened and has changed for the routes for the sake of both Firebase and D Machine. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how the other games have been, because I just I just think it'd be fun to watch. And of course, I'll have you guys on if you want to like just sit down and watch it, react it. It's gonna be. I honestly am just gonna have it be an uncut series, just one like start to finish. We'll record it, kind of like how the first one was.
Yeah. I know Gabe like mentioned about like having a cyberpunk series, and I think it should be a nice time to talk about the segue into the next topic on the topic of thoughts on incomplete games. As Gabe mentioned,
I think
cyberpunk.
this was.
Well, yeah, Mike. I think
we
were
going to wrap up
that
here.
One later at some other
we'll
point
talk about it in a later one. I'm sorry, Mike, but I feel like we're already hitting that hour and a half point as it is. So like I thought we'd go ahead and wrap things up and like talking about the future.
Yeah, we totally got sidetracked talking about Activision CEO. Damn you, Kubrick!
Yeah. So we have a lot of these series planned. I do want to get with you, Gabe.
I apologize for my
no worries, Mike. You're good. At some point, another like possible Let's Play series is like Gabe and I honestly think it would be a good idea, Gabe, if we were to do a Borderlands 3 series like I was talking about previously, because we both have it on PC, and I think it'd be fun because like Borderlands 3 with all this new content that's coming and the things that we could and the way how we Borderlands 3 always can be different, and like there's a lot of crazy cool things coming with this DLC. Other than all the story stuff, we're getting a vending machine. We're getting a machine of some sort to where you can re-roll anointments on your weapons. We're getting a new like sort of like Xur style machine where Maurice is just going to have like random like legendary items in it. That's just going to be somewhere randomly on any of the planets in any of the load zones. And there's not going to be any way for us to be able to properly track it. This is all coming with the release of Director's Cut.
Yeah, this is we have so many ideas and brainstormed plans and whatnot. So we are going to try and orchestrate all of these in the best way possible.
Oh wait, I know a lot.
Hang on, Mike. Another video that I know for sure will be coming out soon is we actually we're going to be having our late April Fool's video coming out soon.
Wait, what?
So
what?
Yeah.
You'll find out. We're not going to tell you what that is.
Yeah, we're not
You'll find out about it.
You'll find out when it gets uploaded on the channel. So we missed the April 1st release date, but that's not going to stop us from uploading.
April is the month of the fools, and we are some fools, so we'll continue to be the fools throughout the end of April.
I'm a legal fool.
So yeah, that'll probably be like our next video up on the like probably more focused on as opposed to a bunch of our other projects.
Do not be afraid to tune into because a lot of our content, if you're noticing the channel is lacking like some serious content and whatnot, or if you're not getting enough, we stream all the time. Easton's in the middle of doing a massive Borderlands stream. Samuel's streaming.
I kind of need to restart that, honestly. Like I kind of fell off.
Even more viewership and content for them for people to go see.
I try and stream, but like I can't like hold myself. If I don't hold a captive audience, I just don't have. There's no point in streaming when I'm just kind of quiet and focused.
One thing I can definitely say I'm debating on doing actually. I know that tomorrow is Easter Sunday. I know a lot of people are going to be spending time with their families, but honestly, I'm not going to be able to. I'm not able to be home with my family, so I'm like thinking, you know what?
Same.
So I'm probably just gonna. I know, like yesterday, I started it up and kind of stopped, but I'm thinking of doing like an Easter egg, like an Easter outbreak stream, like try to see if I can go farther than my personal best.
Can I join you on that?
That would definitely be I mean, if you want to, Mike, I'd say we need to start early because I want to try to see how far we can get with it.
Okay.
Well, you guys coordinate that, and then just be on the lookout for when they stream tomorrow. Because for reals,
It's
gonna be stressful, but
we're talking about this, and this episode's probably not going to be up for like a couple more days. So there was really no point in us talking about that.
I'm gonna wrap this up. So just make sure to always, if you're watching this and you enjoyed, subscribe. Follow us on Twitter.
On all the socials.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter because that is where you get most, if not all, of our updates from our Twitter.com. Also, follow all of our separate accounts. Those will be in the description below as well. And
in the comment section, drop your favorite soda because we're just going to start asking you to comment random things in the comments.
and we'll actually just we'll do a question of the pod
Yeah, well,
for
like Gabe said, if you make it to the end, or even if you just skip to see if we talked about anything interesting, drop your favorite soda in the comment, and we'll like your comment.
And we'll also talk about them in the next one, as well as bring the next question.
We'll review our favorites of who comments, of our favorite comments and our favorite sodas.
So yeah, anyways, why don't we actually answer in our own personal opinion what our favorites are, just to give that sort of sense of it.
Vanilla Coke.
My favorite soda is Dr. Pepper.
Mine is Pepsi.
Coca-Cola for nostalgia. Pepsi just like at like a barbecue.
Alrighty,
situational soda.
So now you know that we're biased for sodas. So.
Yeah.
Let's see how biased y'all are in the comments below.
Alrighty.
Peace.
So we will see you guys in the next one.